All right, and good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our academic support question and answer session here. We do have some folks from both the Career Center and our advising offices available as our presenters today, so I'm going to let them go ahead and introduce themselves.
So I'll start. My name is Lisa Knapp, and I am from the Career Center. I'm an associate director there, which means I work with a certain set of majors, as well as first-year programming and some of our programming around adult learning. And so within the Career Center, there are advisors that serve all of the students, whether they are still deciding what their major is or they have a very clear path. So I'm excited to be talking with you today about the career opportunities that are available for your students.
And my name's Betty Shaner. I'm an assistant dean for academic student services and advising in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. But I've worked in advising in multiple areas throughout my career at Grand Valley. So I've been here about 28 years, worked with students all through that time. We'll talk a little bit more in a minute about the advising structure at Grand Valley and how that works for our students.
All right, my name is Justin Sims.
Looking forward to talking to you.
Yep. My name is Justin Sims, and I'm the Parent and Supporter Orientation Coordinator here at Grand Valley, and happy to be with you to, again, discuss our academic and career services that we offer here at Grand Valley. Before we begin, I do want to point out a couple things here. I am recording this session, and we'll be posting this on our Parent and Supporter Orientation website. So if you'd like to rewatch this session or you cannot attend the live Q&A, it's on our website for you. And this Q&A will be conducted under the assumption that you already have seen our academic and career video presentations on our Parent and Supporter Orientation website. So this Q&A is an opportunity to ask any follow-up questions that you may have seen and any information in those videos. If you have not viewed those videos and presentations yet, please be sure to do so. There's a lot of great information in there, probably more than what we'll get to today in our Q&A. And I will list a link to those videos in our chat box. How today is going to work is our presenter is going to go through a couple of short PowerPoint slides highlighting information of their areas, and then we will open it up to questions. We will be using the chat box for our Q&A portion, so please make sure and utilize that when we get to there. So now I'm going to hand it back to our presenters and let them begin their presentation.
Great. I am going to share my screen here so we can get started on the presentation. Give me 1 second to do that. All right. And as I mentioned in the intros, I just want to go over a little bit of the basics of academic advising at Grand Valley. So we do require at some point in a student's academic career that they declare or choose a major area of study to pursue throughout their academic experience at Grand Valley State. The question of when they should do that is really unique to that individual student. So some students come into Grand Valley and they know exactly what it is that they want to pursue during their orientation and registration and advising session. That your students will have either already gone through this summer or maybe coming up in the next couple weeks. They'll be advised through that session on whether or not they're ready to declare a major or to potentially stay as an exploratory student, maybe give themselves a little bit of time to make that decision on which major they want to pursue. So it is something, you know, the goal would probably be at least by sophomore year that students have settled into a particular area of study just to stay on that 4-year track. So that's something that the advisors in all of our centers are skilled in working with students about choosing that major and choosing the courses that are going to be most appropriate for that. As I mentioned, we do have an exploratory major. It is a program that students can choose when they come into Grand Valley just to give themselves a little bit of time to explore. Consider introductory courses in a variety of majors. Maybe they know a potential program or area of study. They might be very interested in the sciences, but not exactly sure which science major, or perhaps business, but they don't know if they want management, marketing, accounting. So it gives them a little bit of time to consider those options before they settle in. And even once they do declare a major, students can change that major at any time. We hope they would do it sooner than later. We don't want a senior necessarily changing their entire area of study, that could potentially add some semesters onto their time at Grand Valley. We do have more than 100 areas of study and majors at GVSU. There are lots of combinations that students can choose as well. We do have professional programs such as nursing, some of our College of Health Professions areas. So there are secondary admit programs, things like that. So when students are trying to make this decision and want to get all the best possible information to make that choice, that's where our advising structure comes into play. So at Grand Valley, we have 8 different colleges, such as Liberal Arts and Sciences, where I work. We have nursing, business, College of Health Professions, College of Education, College of Engineering and Computing. I'm going to the College of Community and Public Service. So we have multiple colleges at Grand Valley, and each of those individual colleges has a professional advising center where there are people like me, whose our full-time job is to work with students and helping them through all of the intricacies of getting a degree at Grand Valley. But in many of the colleges, faculty advisors will be assigned to students as well. So in my college in particular, once a student declares a major, they are assigned a faculty advisor in that area. And then they use, students have access to both a professional advisor and a faculty advisor. In other colleges, those faculty advisors serve in a mentorship role. So they may help them with what kinds of internships, where might I be able to, what would be my first job that I might get? What kinds of research could I do? Those types of things where a faculty mentor may come into play. So our different colleges have different information, different types of structures. But I think the key point here is that students have a team of folks that can help them through their academic careers at Grand Valley in making the best choices on courses to take and stay on a reasonable track for graduation. So as it says here, every major has an advising center. There is lots of information about that on our advising website. Students will get lots of information about this just prior. They probably got some through their orientation and registration session, but we also have that information on our website under advising. So it's easy to find that information, see the different colleges, see the majors that fall under each of those colleges, and make a direct connect to those advisors. Right now, as a first-year student, I would definitely encourage students to reach out to their advising center early and often is what I say, just to make sure that they're feeling settled, getting their questions asked and answered, making choices about the courses that they're in, even during that first week when they're getting settled into their classes. So find that information and reach out. I would encourage students to do that. So the last point on this page is something called My Path. So we try to provide students with all the resources at their fingertips so that they can see what their progress is towards their degree. And we have a technology that we use. It's called My Path. It's through our banner system. But basically what it does is it takes all the requirements of a particular degree, takes all the courses that a student has currently is currently registered for or has completed, and provides a report for a student that indicates what's missing, what still needs to be taken, allows students to build a schedule for future semesters. It's a great advising tool. It's a document that we use in our advising sessions with students. So students will have access to this. They have it now if they've been through orientation, so they can go in and play around with it, maybe do a couple scenario options of, so I want to be a mathematics major. What if I added a statistics minor? What would that look like? How many more courses might that take? So that, to me, is probably one of the primary reasons why a student would want to go and see their academic advisor is to review My Path. It can be a little confusing at first, but once they get an intro to it, it's pretty intuitive. It's a great planning tool for future semesters. So it is there and available to them 24/7. What we're hoping that it does is avoid any of those surprises at the end of, oh my gosh, I didn't know I need to take this additional course. It keeps, it's up to date every single day for a student, so there aren't any of those surprises at the end. So encourage your students to visit their advisors, review My Path, and make sure that they're on track for where they want to be at a particular time in their career. So as summary for advising, there's lots of people to talk to. We're all here to help. Right now, we're all doing virtual appointments on a regular basis, a daily basis. So don't wait until they get here. If they want to reach out to an advisor now is a great time to do that. So that is all that I have. If I said anything that sparks a question, please put that in the chat and we will take a look at those questions when Lisa gets done with her information about our Career Center.
Thank you. Like Betty said, we have a lot of different things going on, and your student has a lot of different people that are working on their behalf. And so in the Career Center, part of your student's advising team is their career advisor. And like I said at the beginning, everyone has one. So you'll see that a lot of parents ask us, what are the things that first year students can do in the Career Center? Because a lot of people think of Career Center as a place that you go when you're a junior looking for an internship and a senior when you're looking for a career. Like it's this magic list that says, here's the career for you. But we know that that's not really the way it works, that it's a unfolding that happens over the course of our lives. And so we want to meet with first year students as well to figure things out. And we too say connect early, connect often. So 3 specific things though that you can coach your first year student to do. One is to create a handshake count. Handshake is a platform that we have that works with our office for finding jobs, internships. You can connect with employers. You can connect with other students and see what kinds of things they've done while they're at school. And then it is also used by the Service Learning Center to coordinate and promote volunteer activities. And it is also used by student employment. So all of the on-campus jobs will be found right there in Handshake. So the sooner that your student gets their account and gets their profile up and running, the easier it is for them to use when they actually need it. Quite often when we're trying to learn a new program while we're in the middle of needing it, it's a very frustrating activity. So this summer, take some time, set it up. If they have any questions, they can certainly reach out to our office. The second thing is to get to know their career advisor. If they go to the Career Center website, they will be able to look at who's in our office. They'll see a picture, what majors we work with. And again, that just kind of eliminates that stress of when you need somebody to talk to. Some of the things first year students come in and discuss: choosing a major, changing a major, making sure that while they're here, they maximize their time. Maybe getting a campus job, they have to have a resume or an interview if they're applying for a fellowship or a scholarship sometimes. So all different reasons that they can come in. We've even had students that come in that are at work and work isn't going the way they want, and they're like, can we just talk about the world of work? So lots of ways for the first year student to connect, and if they know their career advisor, that makes it a lot easier. And then the third thing is we want students to start thinking about that plan. And we're not talking about figuring out your entire life. A lot of times when we're 18, 19 years old, maybe even 17, we have big ideas and we have a limited view of what's out there and what the options are. So I spent this morning talking to high school students about what they want to do and shifting that from being, I want to do this job title, to I want to use these skills. What I'm going to do in the workplace is use communication skills in this way, use collaboration skills in this way. And so we want to have those conversations at the front end of the college experience so that when they are choosing internships and study abroad sessions and getting ready to do some networking with employers, that they have a good sense of what it is they bring to the table and where they want to go with that. Also part of that plan is connecting with employers. We bring a lot of professional people to campus every year, whether it's at a career fair, which is a big traditional event, or it's a small, more targeted event to talk about professionalism in the workplace, or what your first year on the job looks like, or maybe communication skills, or what does somebody do in the healthcare field if they don't want to be a nurse, but they want to work in healthcare. So lots of those are designed for people that are exploring or at the front end of their experience. So if we sit down with your first year student and we kind of map out a plan, those are the kinds of things that you will see there. What skills do I want to develop? What things do I want to be a part of? What do I want to learn about the world of work? And that is what we're talking about, so that first year, whether they're headed into the workplace, whether they're taking a service year, or whether they're going to professional or graduate school, they're prepped and prepared for that. So we have traditional appointments that you can set up with a career advisor and talk one-on-one, but we also have lots of events and activities throughout the year, and we have every day we have Career Lab, which is kind of a drop-in, and you can either bring your computer and work on something, or you can meet with an advisor and ask a quick question. And those will be happening virtually and have been happening all summer virtually. So even if your student wants to start now having those conversations, they can go to our website and then log into the Career Center to check that out.
All right. Thank you for the information, Lisa and Betty. Appreciate that there. So we are now going to open it up to questions for the group here. Again, we will be using the chat box feature during this time, so please go ahead and type your questions into that chat box. And then when the questions pop up, I will go ahead and read them aloud and have Lisa and Betty answer them. So it looks like one of our first questions that has popped up here is, how often should a student be meeting with their academic advisor?
I'll start on that one. You know, it depends on the student. We don't require advising at Grand Valley. So this is a kind of a voluntary type of a relationship with their advisor. But I would recommend an introductory meeting, at least in that first semester. So make an appointment with their assigned advisor. And let me give you a little background on how all of that happens. So when a student has gone through their advising and registration session this summer, and they've declared their intent of which program that they're planning to study right now, they will be assigned an advisor from that area. They should get an email that tells them who that person is and maybe a little bit of information about that person, and then probably most importantly, their contact information. So I would recommend strongly to your students that they reach out to that person, maybe when the semester starts, even a little bit before, just to maybe set up that introductory meeting. They may be having, if it's a faculty member, they may have that faculty member in a class this fall. So that's always a good opportunity to meet with that person. So definitely the introductory meeting. And then for me, I always encourage students to maybe do a once a semester or at least a once a year check-in. How am I doing? Where am I at? What courses are remaining? And probably the best time to do that is in January and February. We register for a full year of classes right after spring break in March. So what we don't want students to do is to wait till their day that they're supposed to register and then go try and find some time to meet with their advisor. Chances are that person is incredibly busy, meeting with lots of students. So do some pre-planning. Do that, make that appointment in January and February. Sit down, take a look at MyPath, talk about their interests, their plans, set up a plan of action for the next year. And then when their day to register comes, they can sit right down at the computer and get into the classes that they need. So we don't want them waiting too long. We want them to have that schedule built before they leave by the end of that winter semester, and at least know what what things are going to look like in that following year. So I encourage students an introductory meeting. Depending on the outcome of that meeting, their advisor will probably give them some instructions on how often they should meet. But then definitely in January and February to build that schedule. If I can ask parents one thing, it would be to encourage their students to have that appointment prior to registration so that they're ready to go when that day comes.
Kind of a follow-up question to that there too, Betty. Does my student have to switch advisors if they switch majors?
It's all going to be dependent on which major they might be switching to. So if they're switching from mathematics to computer science, chances are they will be changing advisors. It happens just like I explained before. Once they've declared that intent in Banner, they will be assigned a new advisor and get information about that. But because we want students to be working with experts in that field, we do require typically a change of advisors when that happens. It just allows that student to work with someone who's very knowledgeable about that field. So yes, chances are the student will be changing advisors when they change their major.
Thank you there. We got another question coming in here. It says, are there options for remote student jobs if a student is not going to be physically on campus for the fall?
So the good news is a lot of different offices around campus are accommodating student workers all summer long. And so the plan is that they would continue that as able. So I would expect that your student, if they are taking classes remotely, off campus, that they would also be able to find remote work on campus as part of student employment.
Thank you. Another question that popped up here is, what sort of resources are available via the Career Center for if the students are not going to be on campus or if the classes are all online?
So again, we have done a lot. We made a pretty hard pivot like a lot of people did when things shifted. And what we found out was that we had a lot of capacity for doing our work online. And I was sharing earlier that some of our sessions have been more vibrant and more intimate because we can go back and forth and get one-on-one without the interruptions sometimes that happen in an office setting. So we have seen very little difference in the way that we do our one-on-one appointments, if it's over Zoom or if it's via phone. We have the online career lab or the virtual career lab where a student will check in. They'll be working kind of in a sub room, and the advisor will come in and come out and check on them and see where their progress is, answer questions. They can raise their hand if they want immediate attention. We also have been working with our employers to make sure that we still offer a lot of contacts with employers that are coming to campus and discussing what their world of work looks like, or recruiting for internships or recruiting for student jobs. And so those plans have come together pretty nicely. We have a Work Like a Laker career fair, or Work Like a Laker career conference that will happen from October 1 to 15. And our traditional career fair is going to be online, virtual, but that's rolled into this conference where students will have a chance to work on their resume, do their interviews, talk about how to do a web presence, right? How to be a good virtual employee. But then there'll also be a series of professional development topics, and then there'll be industry sessions. So, you know, careers in writing and communications, careers in management, careers in healthcare, careers in STEM field, math, stats, and science. And so your student can look at that career conference packet and literally select which sessions make sense for them. Those will be led by professionals around campus, and they'll be led by local employers and even some regional employers. So we're pretty excited about that. And then we're also right now working on the final details for a first-year program. Your student can opt into kind of a listserv. They will get something into their inbox once a week that is a little teaser, right? Match the skills with the job titles, or write down something you're good at, ways to connect with the Career Center. So just a quick little light, bright activity. And then on Friday afternoons, the Career Lab will be focused on first-year students to come in. It feels better, I think, when you know you're going someplace and that everybody is expecting you as a first-year student and they're ready for your questions. And then there'll be a third part that are Saturday sessions where we're going to defer to the experts. We're bringing in some upperclassmen to talk about ways that they kind of worked on their career path while they were here at Grand Valley. Well, they're still here at Grand Valley, they're upperclassmen, but so what they did in their first year, their second year, or maybe what they wish they'd done in their first year and second year. And so that will be Saturdays. It'll be an hour, a quick kind of Zoom session. So more to that, more on that will be coming in the next couple weeks once we get signed to the names and the schedule confirmed. So encourage your student to check out Work Like a Laker Conference, to look at that first year offering, but then also know our office is open for business. We're doing everything we always do. It just is looking a little bit different.
These are all great questions thus far. Thank you, everybody, for that. And continue again to use this chat box here. Another question that came up is, will all the classes that Grand Valley offers have both online and face-to-face sections available?
That's a big question. Here's what I know at this point. So there's an entire team of folks that are working on making sure that our classrooms are safe, that we're practicing social distancing, and that we're still providing students with that face-to-face option when they choose it. So I will say that the vast majority of our courses offer some variety of face-to-face, online, or something we are kind of calling staggered hybrid. So for our first-year students, we want them to have that face-to-face interaction with their faculty. So for some of those courses, we're doing something we call staggered hybrid, where while that course might be Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 10 to 11, perhaps only a third of the course will meet Monday, another third on Wednesday, and the other third on Friday. And those other 2 days, they would be meeting remotely with the class. It provides us with an opportunity to keep that social distancing in the classroom, but still provide students with an opportunity to be face-to-face with that faculty member at least 1 day a week. So we are encouraging our first-year students to take advantage of those options. Many of our classes are offering online options this year. And for students who are more comfortable with that, they can certainly choose that option. I cannot say that every course offers an online option at this point. So students, that's an amazing opportunity for them to have that conversation with an advisor to talk through what those courses are going to look like. This is new to all of us, and we're all learning as we go here on how what these different modalities are going to look like in the fall semester. So don't ever hesitate to have your student reach out to their advisor to talk through, what is my week really going to look like? I thought I would be in a class on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Well, now it says something different. So have them reach out to their advisor if they want to move into more face-to-face courses. The advisor can assist with that. And the advisor I'm speaking about would be the one that they worked with to sign up for courses. So they should still have that person's email address. Reach out to that person. See if you can't set up a follow-up meeting to take a look at the schedule. See if there are opportunities to make any changes. So we are hoping that the majority of our first-year students will have that face-to-face opportunity as much as possible in a safe way. And then online options wherever we can, where it makes sense. There are some courses such as our science labs and things where it may not make sense to have an online course, but we're doing our best to offer as many options for students so they are comfortable, feel safe, and are engaged in the fall, in their classes in the fall and winter semesters.
Thank you, Betty. Appreciate that. Any final questions here? The chat box is starting to die down a little bit. And it's okay if the questions are starting to die down. I know it's a lot of information to take in here. But do remember that you can contact these departments anytime throughout the summer should some more questions arise. And Betty, if you wouldn't mind throwing up that contact slide for us there, perfect. Again, the questions are going to come up this summer here, so please feel free to reach out to our advising offices and career center opportunities as well. And if you would like a specific department to follow up with you with a specific question, please feel free to message me privately in the chat box with your contact information and which department you would like a follow-up from as well. Betty, Lisa, any final thoughts about anything?
I think one of the things I would just mention is, as we are making our final plans for the start of the fall semester, one of the events, previously, as everything else, it was in person with our first year students. It's several days of events that we call transitions. It just allows students to explore a lot of the different resources and people that are available to them once they settle into their classes in the fall. We will be doing this in a remote way in for many of the sessions. There will still be face-to-face kinds of events and things that are going on, but there will be a specific session just on advising. And while parents have heard all this information, we want to make sure students at the time when they're ready for it have access to that transition session and can just get a little reminder about how the system works and who they can reach out to get some help. I think this summer, I've worked orientation for 20 plus years at Grand Valley. I was trying to remember exactly how many. It's like 24 years. And it seems like we're constantly making it a little bit better than the year before. And of course, this year threw us a curveball like we've never had. And moving orientation from our in-person events that we had on almost a daily basis to an online system was challenging, but I will say I felt that my conversations with students and the events that I had with students, the one-on-ones, I really got to know those students probably better than I have in some of the other sessions where maybe we were in larger groups. So I think your students got even probably a little bit more support this year than we've had in the past. So don't ever be afraid to reach out. And that's probably my biggest takeaway from all of this is we're here to help. We know this is different. We know there's a lot of concerns and questions. So please reach out to your advisor and ask those questions. We are here to help.
And I would just want to say that a big part of our summer has been reaching out to the employer partners that we have within different industries. So I work with the School of Comm, College of Ed, Visual and Media Arts, and my colleagues in other fields. And what we're just universally hearing from everyone is that this has thrown all of us for a loop, and we've all had to been very adaptable in a very short amount of time, but we've learned a lot of really great things, and we've learned a lot of things about the world of work and a lot of things about ourselves and a lot of things about the way that we work with students to prep them for what's next, which is partly we don't know what's next. And so your student's going to have a little different experience. Maybe they're going to meet with me, via the computer screen, or they're going to drop by and ask a quick question in the Career Center, but then get set up maybe for an appointment that looks different. We have some bag chairs in our office that they might haul outside so they can sit on the lawn and talk this fall. But that's all part of it. That's all part of that prep for what's next. And so they're going to leave with some perspectives and some ability to be adaptable and to interact with technology that will be really valuable for them wherever they go after they leave Grand Valley. And so we're all in this together. We say that a lot in our office, and I think we're saying that a lot around campus, and you are probably saying that in your spaces and places as well. And we are excited for your student to come, for a chance to get to know them and a chance to work with them as they, prep for their first year and move through that first year right on through to graduation.
All right. Thank you again, everybody, for attending our session today. And we look forward to seeing both your student and yourself on campus here in the fall. We will stick around for the next few minutes if there are any lingering questions that come up. Otherwise, have a great day.